Manchester United has lost its identity, but we're going to bring it back. Winning mentality, a British core of players, a pathway for the kids. This is Championship Manager 0102 with an up-to-date database, and we have one mission: put Manchester United back at the top of European football. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the Saving United series, where we are managing Manchester United on Championship Manager 0102. We're using the winter 2025 update, so it's pretty up to date with all the latest transfers. And we're going to try and save United. I think that, as I say in the intro, they've just lost their identity a little bit. They've lost their way. Under Fergie, I remember them having like a real fear factor about them. Old Trafford was a fortress. You knew you was going to be in for a game. And I think they've lost that. And we're going to try and bring that back. We're going to try and bring that back mainly through recruitment of players. But also, maybe we go back to that sort of class of 92, look at the academy, see if we can bring through some players through the ranks that are Man United through and fit our DNA. I mean, looking at the current squad that we've got here, it's not great. It's not great, and it hasn't been great for a long time. So I feel like we've got our work cut out here. I mean, where'd you start? Where'd you start defensively? They've got some good players. I personally, I like Harry Maguire. I like Luke Shaw. United always used to have like a core of British and Irish players, and they kind of fit that bill. We just need some stars around that core, if that makes sense. I think we're going to have to do some work in the transfer market early doors. We'll have a look at how much money we've got in a moment. I'm kind of leaning towards a 4-3-3, if I'm honest, just looking at this squad straight off the bat. There's lots of players here that aren't traditional Man United players for me. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I remember the great sort of Fergie teams when we had Mourinho in the noughties, and it was like you knew you'd be in for a game. The team almost picked itself. Squads weren't huge, but you know that if a player was going to have to come into the starting lineup, they're trusted. You know, you knew that the quality of the side wasn't going to drop. And I kind of feel like Man United haven't had that for a long time. So we're going to try and recruit some players that I think would Fergie trust them at Highbury in 2004. And if it's a yes, they're probably the right sort of player for this project. But yeah, off the bat, I mean, we've got the likes of Kobe Mainoo that we can kind of look to build a team around, although he is only 20. I'm not a big fan of him in real life at the moment. I think he is a little bit overhyped. He looks decent here, but is he going to give us that sort of impact straight away? As I mentioned, I'm a Chelsea fan, so this is a guy that I'm not very keen on straight away either. We've probably got a bit of a dilemma with Bruno Fernandes because, I mean, he's got a bit of resale value at the moment. But how long is that going to last for? And then we've kind of got, do we need another number 9? Probably. Defensively, we're kind of all over the shop, I think. We've got lots of utility players like Dalot, Ahmad Diallo. I see him more as an attacking player. So we might try and utilise him somewhere. Is there any standouts in this side? I don't think so. We're going to have to do some work in the transfer market. We've been given a fair chunk of money, 15 million. And that's, I mean, Erling Haaland is valued at 21 million. So that kind of like, that 15 million should be able to get you a good couple of players for Manchester United. And there's obviously going to be players that are going to leave this club as well, that we're going to try and move on as quickly as possible. And yeah, I'd expect some big transfers in this first sort of season. Looking at the reserves, I mean, for me, Lenny Yoro needs to be in and around the first team. He looks fantastic straight off the back. He is only 19. We are going to promote him to the seniors because he is someone that I think we could build a side around. Chido Obi's another one that I would be interested in seeing the development of, but we're probably going to send him out on loan for this first season. And then you've got the likes of Shea Lacey, who I'm quite interested in as well. But again, I think he is going to be another one that we loan out. There is currently a lot of players that are out on loan at the moment. Highly rated left back Harry Amas is one of them. Um, I kind of would have liked to maybe have had him at the club. He is on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, so if he's maybe not getting the game time that I think he needs, then maybe we'll put him back in, because I see him as someone that could maybe make the odd appearance here and there, come off the bench in the league. Maybe he could play a few games in the cup. We have got quite a lot of senior players out on loan at the moment. Rasmus Højlund, Rashford, Andre Onana and Jadon Sancho that, I mean, with the exception of maybe Højlund, I don't really see a spot for some of these lads. Rashford maybe, but Onana, I think his time is done in England, and Sancho, I just don't think he's going to be the guy that we need to sort of carry us forward here. We're trying to bring a bit of fear factor back to Man United. The board are expecting us to get European qualifiers. Now, I kind of feel like that's something that Man United should be doing every year without fail, top four. They're a huge club, aren't they? I mean, they're arguably the biggest club in the world still. So I think top four as a bare minimum for this first season would be a good start. We're going to start with Spurs away. We've got Newcastle at home. We've got Fulham away. Let's have a little look. I want to have a little look and see what our running looks like. And to be fair, I mean, we've got Liverpool, Arsenal, City and Chelsea all in a row. But then we've got Brentford, Villa's a tough one, maybe Brighton, Leeds, Burnley, Wolves. We kind of get all of our tougher games out the way, the games that you'd expect us to maybe not pick up the full maximum points. We kind of get them out the way in like little clusters, which is quite nice, really. So hopefully we can start the season, get a good run going. We've got a few, are they Bosnian sides lined up for pre-season? That'll be interesting. We obviously need to work out a bit of a tactic. So maybe I'm going to go away, work out how we're going to play based on what we've got currently, and bring you back in, and maybe we'll have a look at that system in the friendlies. Okay, I've had a little bit more of a look at this squad, and I've decided that we're going to play one of my favourite formations to play, which is this kind of like narrow 4-3-3, narrow front three, fluid midfield three. I call it beard ball. It'd be interesting to see how it works on the patch version of this. It was pretty successful on the original database, so that's kind of how I see us starting this season. Instructions wise, we're playing attacking football. We're mixing up the passing, but I would imagine at some point we'll be going a bit more direct. We're going hard tackling. We're going yes for pressing, no for offside trap, counter attack, and men behind the ball. Again, this is just the idea of how I want to play. Whether or not it works is a different matter, and I can see us just tweaking that as it goes on. We have made Tyrell Malacia and Mason Mount available for transfer. Both have got some interest in them. Galatasaray are interested in Mason Mount, and Al Rayyan are interested in Malacia. I don't think there's a player here that I look at and go, we probably need to keep hold of them at all costs. I think every player is going to have a price tag on them. So for me, I'm open to all offers really, but Malacia and Mount I've identified early doors as players that I don't really think are going to get on as part of this project. So let's see if we can get them out the door, raise a little bit more funds, and then hopefully bring in one or two more players. Straight away, we've had a bid for Malacia from Al Rayyan, as we expected. And I think that's a fairly decent offer for a player that we don't really have any need for. We've got lots of players that can play left back, in Shaw, in Dorgu, in Mazraoui. So I'm going to accept this offer and hopefully, like I say, just free up a little bit of money and see if we can go and get one or two players that can really make a difference and hopefully get this team playing again. We've made our first signing of the Beardiola Manchester United era, and it's Amadou Onana. I was surprised that we managed to get this guy for fairly cheap, £7.75 million. I'm a big fan of him. I love him in real life for his like physicality. I think he's really good on the ball, and he does so well in that Aston Villa midfield. 20 caps for Belgium at the age of 23 as well. That for me is a no-brainer, really. I kind of felt like in this squad, when you look at sort of like that holding midfield position, you've kind of got Casemiro in there. You've got Ugarte in there. Casemiro isn't going to last forever. This is probably his last season at the club. Ugarte hasn't really hit the ground running at Man United in real life, so I just felt like we needed another option in there. And Onana fitted that bill for me perfectly. No more players have left. We have played a couple of the friendlies, a 3-0 win in the first one against Zrinski, Šeško with 2 goals there and De Ligt with 1, and then another 1-0 win this time against Briege, and Šeško getting the only goal in that game. So, I mean, Benjamin Šeško is having a fantastic pre-season for us. Hopefully that will continue. And you can see there, I'm trying to do a little bit more in the transfer market as well. We're trying to get Ivan Toney in. I can spend up to about £7 million. I don't really want to spend too much more than what I'm offering. He is 29 years old, but he is a proven striker. He kind of fits that British core that I'm after. And I think he'll be a great addition if we can get hold of him. Okay, we've had a little bit of a setback here because we had another bid rejected for Ivan Toney. And in the next news article, he's just agreed to go to West Ham. So Ivan Toney will be playing in the Premier League again, just not for Man United, which is a bit frustrating, really. You would have thought we would have been a better option than West Ham. Maybe that's just where the club is at the moment. But we're going to have to try and find someone else. I do want to get another attacking player into this side. Okay, so we have just finished our pre-season schedule over in Bosnia. And as you can see, we haven't conceded a goal and we scored plenty. We won this game 3-0. Luke Shaw, Fernandez and Chido Obi actually getting himself onto the score sheet there. And then we won our final friendly 5-0. Bruno Fernandez coming into his own, really. The whole midfield three played well here. Onana getting a 10 out of 10. Mainu getting himself on the score sheet. And Buemo got himself one. And Chido Obi, for the second game in a row, came off the bench and scored. He's only 17 years old. The fact that we haven't been able to sign another striker yet is kind of making me think that for now, he is better off being at the club and not going out on loan, because I'm going to be able to give him some game time at the moment as things stands. We kind of need that little bit of depth in the squad, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the core values of this project of trying to get a British core and trying to use the youth where possible. Other youth players that we've called up that have done well, to be honest, during pre-season. James Scanlon is one of them. He is a Gibraltar international, only 18 years old. Technically, looks pretty solid. Looks pretty good. He's come off the bench 3 times and got 2 assists, so we're keeping an eye on him. And Aidan Heaven, I should say, also looks pretty tidy and has made a few appearances. Hasn't been quite as impressive, but he's just a nice option to have in the squad from the youth academy. So our next game is in 17 days time, on the 18th against Tottenham, and we're going to bring you that to round off this episode. So what we're going to do, we're going to go away. We're going to try and sign some more players if possible, see if anybody leaves, and we'll bring you back if anything happens. If not, you'll next see us at that Spurs game. Not necessarily transfer news, but we have offered out some new contracts. Maguire and Chido Obi both had their contracts expiring in the summer, as did Casemiro, but we have decided against offering him a deal just yet. With Maguire and Obi, we're looking at 2 players at the different ends of their career as such. Maguire starting to wind down, Chido Obi just getting started, but both of them fit the bill for this project for me, and I think will play a big part this year, if not next year in Chido Obi's case. City are ones that we're going to have to watch. They just keep on strengthening. They've signed Ollie Watkins. Everybody's signing strikers apart from me at the moment. And as you can see, I'm currently looking at transfer lists just to see if we can squeeze another one in over the line. But I'll kind of show you the kind of options that we've got. We've got 5.25 million left to spend, and to be fair, no one off this list is really jumping out at me. It may be a case that we do decide to stick with Chido Obi and Xerxes as our backups to sort of Mbuemo, Cunha, Sheshko as well, and then maybe we see what Rashford does while he's over at Barcelona, and maybe we don't need to sign another striker right away. One thing I will say is, remember, we're playing Championship Manager 102, which means that there isn't transfer windows as such. You can pretty much sign players at any point during the season. So, there's going to be options. There's going to be options. There's going to be the opportunity for us to maybe move a player on during the season and reinvest those funds elsewhere. So that's what's going to make this interesting, I think. We're about a week away from our first game of the season. It doesn't look likely that we're going to bring anybody in. Charity Shield is going on now, and Palace have just battered Liverpool 3-0. What a result for them, by the way, for some silverware. But I expect the next time you're going to see me now is going to be that Spurs game. Okay, so we are pretty much ready to go and play Spurs. We didn't bring anybody else in. I'm just seeing Kovacic going to Red Bull Salzburg, and that's the type of player that wouldn't have been a bad signing for us. However, there's not a lot of love lost between Chelsea and Man City and United, so maybe that wouldn't have gone down as well as I was thinking. We've got some players here that are out on their international duties, so I think the easiest thing for us to do is just going to be to pick a squad from scratch. Le Mans is going to start the season as our number one in goal. The goalkeeping situation is a bit of a weird one. We have got Beardiola as well. We've got Onana out on loan. I'm not overly confident in any of our goalkeepers, including the ones out on loan. So that's going to be a position we do definitely need to do some work in. For now, I'm happy to give Lamans a shot, knowing that Beardiola is capable backup. But I think that goalkeeper is going to be a position that we're going to have to look to do some work in as soon as possible, really. Luke Shaw is going to start at left back for us. We're going to have Dalot at centre back, and in the middle, we're going to go with Maguire, who didn't have a great pre-season, and De Ligt. I just really like Harry Maguire. I think in real life he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. They just had a difficult season, and he has been fairly strong throughout. And I think he gets a bit of unnecessary stick, really. Onana had a fantastic couple of games for us, a 9 and a 10 in his pre-season campaign. So he is going to hold the base of the midfield, which allows Fernandes to push on, and Kobe Mainu is going to be in there with him as well. Slight change up front. We're going to go with Cunha, we're going to go with Sheshko, and we're going to have to give a senior debut, I believe, to Chido Obi. He is going to be playing up front. I'm happy with him playing off the right. I want to keep Sheshko quite central because that seems to be where he is getting his goals for us. On the bench, remember, 102, we can only name 5 subs. So we're going to have a goalkeeper on there. Mazraoui is definitely a good option for the bench just because of his versatility. He can play holding midfielder, can play anywhere across that back line as well. Casemiro is going to go in, as is. I think we're going to have to use Mason Mount and James Scanlon here. This is what I mean about needing another striker. We've got Mbuemo is out on international duty. We've got Josh Xerxes, who is out on he's out on an injury. He should be back fairly soon, a few days. So that's not too bad. So we haven't actually got a striking option on the bench. Could be an issue, might be an issue, but however, I think once these lads come back and we've got Ahmad that can play an attacking role as well, we might be okay. We're going to go and we're going to play Spurs, and this is going to kick off our season. Who of Spurs, what system are they playing first of all? They're playing kind of like a 4-2-3-1, similar to us, where they've got their wingers coming in to make a narrow front three. In fact, you look at the shape of their midfield, that's kind of the shape that our midfield morphs into with the arrows that we've got. So it's going to be a fairly like-for-like system to ours. But we are underway. Our first league game of this project. and it's against Spurs. Remember, we didn't concede in pre-season. And although we were just playing Bosnian sides, I don't think it was a bad start. Kobbie Mainoo, who I said I wasn't really a fan of, and I didn't know if I could trust him off the bat, has just got sent off 11 minutes in, which gives us a little bit of a dilemma. The poor lad, Chido, this is not how he wanted his debut to end, because he is coming off the pitch and Casemiro is going to come on and have to sit in midfield. Yeah, really, really disappointing to see Kobbie Mainoo get sent off 11 minutes into the game. We'll have a look at the match report at half time and see exactly what he did. But we're down to 10 men away at Spurs. And I was hoping this was going to be a good opportunity to get some points on the board and really set out our stall for what we want to do. But we've had to adapt early doors, and we are now 1-0 down. I mean, obviously, this isn't the Spurs of real life. This is a Spurs that are on paper a decent side. So I think going down to 10 men is always going to be difficult against them. Let's have a look at what Mainoo did. Hacked down Palhinha with 2 feet. Silly, silly boy. We're not going to make any changes at half time. We're going to give it maybe up to about 60 minutes before we start to look at making changes, or maybe we do it now, as Spurs have just gone and made it 2. We haven't got a striker on the bench, so maybe do we take off a holding player, Anana off? I'm going to put James Scanlon on and play him just behind the strikers there. He did well in pre-season, and I think it's just worth just giving him a go. I'm not expecting us to come back and get back into this now with half an hour to go at 2-0 down at Tottenham. 3-0 down at Tottenham. But it'll be good to see how the young lad does. He's going to get more of a debut than Chido did, thanks to Kobbie Mainoo. This is a bit of a worrying scoreline. Yeah, okay, we're down to 10, but that's 4 now. And we kind of matched them stats-wise, which is odd. I kind of expected us to be getting blown away by them looking at the scoreline, but we're not. In fact, we've had more shots than they have, more shots on target. We just haven't stuck it in the net, and they've done that 4 times. Brennan Johnson proving to be absolutely unplayable. 2 of them are penalties. Okay, now we're starting to see the story of the game. We've gone down to 10 men early doors, and we've conceded 2 penalties against Spurs. That kind of tells a bit more of a story than that does when you just look at that at 4-0. Yeah, there's no way we can appeal that. He's hacked him down 2-footed. But yeah, that kind of is a disappointing result, because you look at pre-season and we didn't concede a goal and we were scoring 3s and 5s. And then as soon as we get in a competitive game, we have a little bit of a head loss in the middle of the pitch after 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, we are up against it. And I keep talking about winning mentality and could you trust them at Highbury in 2004. That's the type of player we want. It's going to be interesting to find out how many of those players we have in our squad. That is where we are leaving episode 1 of the Saving United series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments if you have done. And of course, if you are not already, please do like, subscribe, share this video. It really does help us out. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.